now on Denver 7 News at 10.
It was boom! It was loud and everything.
A deadly RV explosion shakes up a Denver neighborhood. What witnesses saw and why firefighters say this is a growing concern.
We are seeing people getting injured in scooter crashes. A lot of broken arms, a lot of broken legs.
The rise in scooters around downtown and the increase in risk. Hear from an ER doctor who says scooters are the reason his waiting room is filling up every day. Plus, training camp is here and Broncos country is ready.
Go Broncos! Woo!
All the highlights from today's Back Together event where the Broncos brought their A game and so did the fans.
Thanks so much for joining us for Denver 7 News at 10. I'm Jacqueline Allen, and football is back. It was a very special day in Broncos country as thousands of fans show up to UC Health Training Center sporting their orange and blue for the Broncos Back Together Saturday event. Fans were given an extra surprise when former Bronco Peyton Manning and his son Marshall ran out onto the field shaking hands with new quarterback Russell Wilson. Wilson also gave the fans a warm welcome on the mic, spent some time with them after practice to sign autographs. Head coach Nathaniel Hackett says this big turnout just proves why playing in Broncos country is the best.
Broncos country. Everybody keeps talking about it. That was real. I mean, that was. I didn't mean to cut you off. You just got me fired up hearing them scream and stuff. It's pretty awesome when you come out here and, you know, the whole field's gone. You know, it's just no green is showing, just orange. And I think the guys love it. We love it. I mean, it's about all of us together. We need that crowd to be able to help us win a lot of games.
And when tickets for Back Together Saturday went on sale, Broncos country snapped them up in less than 10 minutes. Denver 7's Patrick Perez hung out with fans today who say this year is the Broncos' year.
Quarterback Russell Wilson told the Sea of Blue and Orange today the plan is to win this next Super Bowl. And that is exactly what we heard from all of these fans all morning long as they waited for this Back Together Saturday to kick off.
Let's go Broncos!
A sea of blue and orange as Broncos fans lined up outside the UC Health Training Center Saturday morning to see their team in action. Some arrived as early as midnight to be first in line.
It's an annual thing we do. Whenever we do come out here, we make sure, you know, we get a good spot, you know, just hold it down in the front and just be excited for the season.
The gates opened at 9 a.m. for the NFL's second Back Together Saturday training camp. Eager Broncos fans scooped up the 5,000 free tickets available for the event in under 10 minutes.
You feel that hype to where Peyton Manning was here, you know. Now that's back.
Fans say having a new quarterback like Russell Wilson and a new coaching staff will turn things around for the team.
I hope we're going to get the Super Bowl, get to the Super Bowl and just win the Super Bowl. So one more time, like in 2015.
But whether this dream ends up becoming reality, no doubt Broncos fans like this guy,
I'm like a face painting, tailgating, diehard fan of the Broncos,
will continue to have their teams back, win or lose.
There's so many stars on our team now to where we can have that excitement again.
Patrick Perez, Denver 7.
Love the face paint and tailgating fan, and our Broncos coverage doesn't end here. Nick Rothschild will have much more coming up later in sports, and you can visit our website, thedenverchannel.com, for more in-depth coverage. Weather-wise, it was a pretty calm day, but take a look at this. Storms earlier this week are still causing problems in Pitkin County. You can see a line of cars trying to travel on Highway 133 northbound had to come to a full stop because of a mudslide. CDOT says Highway 133 northbound will have alternating traffic between Avalanche Creek Road and Red Dog Road until further notice while this mudslide cleanup continues. Denver police are investigating after a man was stabbed to death in Denver's Globeville neighborhood today. Police say the call came in about 3 p.m. near West 48th Avenue and North Washington Street. The victim died just a few hours later. Now, no arrests have been made yet, and anyone with information is asked to call Metro Denver Crime Stoppers. That number's on your screen so you can report any tips. The Denver Fire and Police are investigating a deadly RV explosion in Denver's Whittier neighborhood this morning. Neighbors there tell us their homes near 27th and Vine actually shook from this blast. It happened shortly after 7 a.m. and these photos were provided to Denver 7 showing the RV on fire before fire crews arrived. Residents tell us the RV belonged to an older man who was parked behind a family member's home for years, and he died in the explosion.
I think the man's daughter was hollering for him, you know, and she was screaming for him. you know, Dad, get out, get out. So it was pretty intense, pretty emotional.
Hard to hear. And Denver Fire says this is actually the 30th RV fire this year, putting them on track to break the 2021 record when crews responded to 32 RV fires. E-scooter injuries. All right, we know people love using scooters to get around downtown, but Denver's ERs are also seeing the dangers, especially when scooters are used to bar hop. Denver 7's Rob Harris talked to one woman whose scooter spill landed her in the hospital.
As you can see, I still have a slight scar on my head.
Nicole Kuzmich says her e-scooter days are behind her, and it is not hard to see why.
So last year in October, I was going to see Meowl for the very first time with my partner. We decide that it's going to be faster to get back to the car with scooters. I was very wrong. We get on scooters and we're on the path behind Elitch Gardens. I reached up to literally adjust my glasses, and that's when I lost my balance. And from there on, it was pretty much over because I fell straight forward. I lost consciousness for probably a second or two. Looked up, see my boyfriend running towards me, and I look down and there's also a puddle of blood in front of me, so that's a lovely sight to see. We ended up in the emergency room and I got stitches.
Kuzmich considers herself lucky. She's hardly alone in crashing on an e-scooter, and many end up with even worse injuries.
I'm working 3 to midnight tonight, and if I get to midnight without seeing somebody injured in a scooter crash, I'll be really surprised.
We caught up with Dr. Eric Levanis before his shift in the ER at Denver Health.
We are seeing people getting injured in scooter crashes almost every day. A lot of broken arms, a lot of broken legs, too often more serious injuries than that. People who hit their heads and have traumatic brain injuries.
Both Lime and Lyft scooters tell riders to wear a helmet while riding, but Dr. Levanis says the vast majority do not.
It's really rare to see somebody wearing a helmet on these scooters. It would make a dangerous thing a little bit safer.
Do you ride scooters ever?
I do not ride scooters. My kids would give me a heck if they saw me riding a scooter.
Do your kids ride the scooters?
Absolutely not. They hear too many stories from Dad about people getting really messed up on these things.
Many see e-scooters as an alternative to getting behind the wheel of a car after drinking, but Dr. Levanis says that's a big mistake.
If you must ride, be careful, and for God's sake, ride sober.
Both Kuzmich and Dr. Levanis say they wish Denver had more bike lanes for e-scooters to ride in. Right now in Denver, e-scooters are supposed to be on the street with cars whenever possible. That's to keep them off sidewalks and stopping them from dodging walkers on the sidewalks. But they both feel that having the scooters amongst the cars on the street is dangerous as well. And that's why they both say they're going to be taking the Uber or Lyft cars place to place. For Denver 7, I'm Rob Harris.
All right, thank you, Rob. Coming up on Denver 7 News at 10, the new school year is fast approaching. How the community is coming together to make sure every kid has what they need to start the year strong.
And it was a very warm Saturday here across the metro area with storms into the high country. Those will end this evening. 90s return tomorrow, and then a very hot start to the month of August on Monday. Your full forecast when we come back.